Hey, guess what time it is? Time for another ballistics gel test. Today we're shooting an absolute deer camp classic 30-30 Winchester PowerPoint 150 grain. And here is the box. Let's flip it around. Here's all your promo information, your ballistics data down here. You can pause and read that if you would like, but let's go ahead and pop the box open and see what this stuff looks like. Of course, it's Winchester, so it comes in this styrofoam ammo holder. Nothing wrong with it. Pop a round out. And there it is. I mean, it's your classic Super X PowerPoint load. The brass is okay. It's not the cleanest. The bullets are just fine. Nothing wrong with them. A lot of times Winchester brass can be pretty dingy. This stuff's all right though. And my test rifle today is going to be my 1980s vintage Glenfield Model 30A, basically a Marlin Model 336. It has a 20-inch barrel up top. I have a vintage Leopold M8 4X scope, and bringing up the rear, of course, I have one of my Mason leather cartridge cuffs. I've got the caliber stamped into it right there. Check out my website, masonleather.com. I would absolutely love to make you one. And let's come around to the other side. I want to show you, I've got my whitetail deer design on this one. We'll be taking 3 shots from 100 yards, firing into 10% ballistics gel that has been calibrated to meet the FBI's ballistics testing protocol. And while ballistics gel isn't an exact proxy for big game, it does provide a repeatable medium through which to test various bullets and ammo against each other. After the shots, we'll examine bullet expansion, weight retention, penetration, and velocity. My goal is to provide hunters like you and I with the most objective information possible to help us make the best choice for our particular hunting situation. The ballistics gel in this video has been sourced from Clear Ballistics. You can find a link in the description. So let's go ahead and shoot it. And we are down here at the blocks after shooting that classic Winchester 150 grain PowerPoint out of the 30-30. And I managed to capture 2 of the 3 shots that I took. Actually 2 shots zinged out the top of the block. I went ahead and fired a 4th shot because I knew that one of them had zinged out, but it turns out 2 of them wound up zinging out. So, oh well, we'll work with what we got. So we got right at, I'll call it 18 inches of penetration on that first bullet, and then 23 inches on that deeper one. And then coming over to the first block, we don't have a, big, massive temporary wound cavity like you see with higher velocity stuff. I've been doing a lot of 6.5 Creedmoor testing, and with that cartridge, you do see quite a bit more expansion and blow up here in the first block with that temporary wound cavity, that expansion cavity. With 30-30, this lower velocity ammo, you just don't see it quite as much, at least not with this particular load. And let's look at the velocities for those 150 grain Winchester PowerPoints out of the 30-30. That doesn't look too bad. We've got a high of 2372, a low of 2335, and an average of 2357 feet per second. And here are those Winchester PowerPoint 150 grain 30-30 bullets yanked out of the ballistics gel. And I just want to point out, look at how beautifully expanded these are. These are just nice little lead flowers. And first we'll talk about weight retention. Respectively, we saw 136 grains and 141 grains for an average of 139 grains of retained weight. That works out to 92% weight retention. That is absolutely incredible for a non-bonded soft point budget bullet. And as far as expansion goes, we saw 0.63 inches and 0.68 inches respectively for an average of 0.66 inches of expansion. That works out to 2.1x expansion, and that is just over my 2x expansion that I like to see for a medium game hunting bullet. And it's really no surprise that we didn't see more expansion, being that this is a 30-30 and it's just a lower velocity round. It's not up there in the 30-06 308 class, so we're just not going to see as much expansion. Now we'll talk about velocity. Our high velocity was 2,372 feet per second. Our low was 2,335 feet per second for an average of 2,357 feet per second versus the factory build velocity of 2,390 feet per second. And I was really surprised to see how close we got to factory velocity out of a 20-inch barrel. We were only 33 feet per second slow on average. That is a lot better velocity performance than most 30-30 ammos I have tested. And now on to penetration. We saw 18 inches and 23 inches respectively for an average of 20.5 inches of penetration. I wish we would have seen a little bit more. I've actually seen quite a bit more penetration out of some 30-30 loads. Go check out my other ballistics gel videos where I've tested Federal, Remington, all sorts of other 30-30 bullets. This was a little bit on the shallow side, but a white-tailed deer is only 12 to 14 inches wide. You have a good broadside shot, this will definitely get the job done. All right, final thoughts on that Winchester 150 grain PowerPoint load out of the 30-30. Overall, it did pretty good. It didn't fail anywhere. It didn't blow anything out of the water. Well, it kind of blew weight retention out of the water. We had 92% weight retention. That's pretty darn good for a cup and core, just lead and copper bullet. It's not bonded or anything. I think a lot of that has to do with it's a 30-30 and the bullet's not going that fast. I'm sure if you pushed this bullet faster, we'd see less weight retention, but it's not. It's in a 30-30. We saw 2.1x expansion, which is beyond that 2x mark that I like to see. Nothing stellar, but it'll definitely do the job. And then penetration-wise, we had 20.5 inches. With some 30-30 loads, I've gotten some pretty substantial penetration. I've got some videos that I posted in the past. Go check those out. The Remington Core-Locked 170 grain bullet in particular penetrated really, really deep. Check that out. Also, Federal Power Shock did great. All in all, this seems to be a fine hunting bullet out of the 30-30. If your gun likes it, I'd say use it. If you've got a stock of it, go for it. There's no real need to get anything else. Personally, I have used this load in the distant past quite a bit on smaller wild hogs, and it did just fine. If you've hunted with this load, let me and everybody else know in the comments how it did for you. Hey, if you enjoy these videos, check out my website, masonleather.com, and get yourself some leather gear handmade by me just for you. I've been handcrafting leather gear for hunters for over a decade, and I would love to make you something. The link is in the video description. And check out my channel for more hunting ammo ballistics gel tests.